This is the bottom board with a screened base from one of the hives. Thanks to this part of the hive, you can monitor the number of dead varroa mites during treatments. The mites fall through the screen to the bottom, allowing you to evaluate the effectiveness of the treatment without disturbing the hive. This is just one way to use it. However, today, I'll talk about something else. What happens if you don't clean the bottom board for an entire year, and whether it's possible to extract wax from this debris? This bottom board was just cleaned and washed. It's now ready to monitor mite drop before winter. The debris that accumulates here is usually burned. Now, this other bottom board hasn't been cleaned for an entire year, and you can see what has built up inside it. It's basically a layer of debris from the bee colony's activity. Everything that has fallen from the bees, their comb, and even other insects, like ants, wax moths, and occasional visitors. Let's take a closer look. First, there are garden ants running around here, and they're pretty big. They may have been planning to build a nest in this warm, dark, and cozy spot, but most likely they're just scavenging for something sweet or edible. However, the most noticeable thing here is the wax moths, or rather, their remnants. There are quite a few, both males and females. The moths themselves can't fit through the screen, but their larvae, which are much smaller, can. They grew up here, as you can tell from the dark spots, their droppings, cocoons, and webbing. Essentially, this created a tiny ecosystem that relies on what falls from above. And a lot of interesting stuff falls from above. There are fragments of wax cappings that bees chew through during winter when eating honey, or when young bees emerge from their cells. Along with these, you can see bits of honey, both in liquid form and as sugar crystals that the bees couldn't consume. There are also pieces of comb and wax that bees chew off old cells or secrete when building new ones. There's quite a bit of wax here, which is what the wax moth larvae feed on. You'll also find fragments of bees, antennae, legs, and other body parts. An interesting observation, there are lots of bee wings in the bottom board. This surprised me a bit and got me thinking. I won't break the fourth wall here, but what do you think? How did they end up here? Now let's move on to the next question. How much wax can you get from this debris after a year? For the experiment, I gathered all the accumulated waste and heated it with water to extract the wax. During heating, the wax floats to the top, while the heavier particles sink to the bottom. I worked on this for quite a while, even using a press. And here's the result. Small pieces of wax weighing 0.158 ounces. That's only about half of the total wax I could extract. So yes, it's possible to get wax from this debris. However, it's much better to clean the bottom boards regularly to prevent wax moth infestations and keep ants from spreading debris around the apiary.